Hello, hello. This is the CampFiia podcast, episode 5. and as you notice, it's just me. It's just Cole here. Because, you know, I thought about doing my own little episode here because of my, I guess, special day. So this has been, I want to apologize first to say sorry for the, lack of episodes. We've just been busy with life on his end and my end. He has he's more busier than me, so he has he has a partner. He has he just does more things than me. I feel like so. I apologize for that. We could have done I could have done more of my own thing here. I just stuff happens, life happens. So I apologize, and I know apologize for that too, but. Here we are. This is something I want to do something a little different. It's not gonna be as long. I'm reckoning as an hour. I'm probably thinking like 30 minutes here, but I just wanted to, hopefully again next week or next week I want to get together with Austin again and do another episode because we want to keep doing this. It's just stuff happens. But anyway, this is an episode because yesterday, this is puts you perspective here. I think it's been like 3 weeks since the last episode, but the 29th of every month. So December 29th was my clean date of last year. And so yesterday marked my 6-month clean date, and that just makes me fucking happy. I for a long time I didn't think I have an issue. I didn't have a problem with anything, but I did. I had issues. And this is the longest I've ever been without using drugs in the past 4 years. Not my whole life, obviously, but like when it became an issue, where I wanted to do it like every day, and to completely just cold turkey it, and yeah, I'm very happy, actually. I'm very happy. I'm ecstatic. May not sound like it, but I kind of just woke up here not too long ago, but. Also, too, we're doing this in the daytime because usually this is a Sunday and I usually go into work tonight, but my job has myself and a bunch of other employees off for the whole week. So I'm off for the whole week, which is pretty nice. I got to do unemployment, all that jazz, make that monies, but, it's cool. It's kind of nice to have a nice little break here. But anyway, yeah, this is, 6-month anniversary. I posted on Facebook, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented and liked and just showed me support, because I knew a lot of people knew, but I knew some people didn't, and I've been getting messages like, oh, what were you on? And like, I hid this for years, for a good 4 years, and it just was rough hiding it and lying to people that I did have an issue. But then obviously when I tried to take my own life away back in January, enough was enough. I had to stop, and I had to I knew either if I continued this path I would not be here anymore, or I would just continue using and continue not having anything and just be a degenerate, if I want to say lightly. Excuse me, I had to get a drink, but it's been good. Yesterday, I had D&D yesterday with some coworkers and friends, and you know what, it was just nice, man. I'm just like thinking in my head, I'm like, holy hell, I've been clean for 6 months. I have not seen it. I have my cravings here and there. You're going to. That's just how it is. But I am so happy that I want to do better. And I just want to strive to do better. I want to do better at work. I want to do better with myself. I want to, what I mean? I wanted to be a better person than I was before. I didn't feel like I was a good person before at all. I asked my friends money all the time. I was late for rent for my dad. I was, so on and so forth. There was a lot of things. But now it's different. Now this is not the past. This is the show. We're just gonna keep going. Hope to see another 6 months. Hope to see another year. I just want to keep going. I don't want to use ever again. I really don't. That time in my life, I want to put to rest because it does nothing good for it. you think you have a hold of yourself when you're using, but you really don't. And I didn't. Um, and I didn't. I thought I did, and I'll go back and forth because it was be a process. I would. I'm going to explain here because I'm going to go in detail. I'm going to go detail when I ever first used drugs, because I don't know why not. I think that's appropriate episode for being clean, and I'm comfortable with myself saying it. But I lost a lot being on drugs, and now I'm just ready to just gain, and just keep going. But to start this, so I always had an interest in drugs because it just seemed interesting. Not, when I was probably 18, I never did anything. I started doing stuff when I was probably like right out of high school, so probably like 19, 20 is when I experimented. You know, I smoked weed since I was like 14. Yeah, smoked weed, very young. I enjoyed, drinking here and there when I was younger too, but it wasn't excessive, You with your friends at a campfire, you're like pre-18, you get shit faced, and then go to work. But excuse me 1 second. Doing this a little bit raw today, a little bit nonchalantly, as you can tell. I just want to do this my own way for a little bit. But anyway, I've always been, because like again, my dad and my mom, just to get into their background a little bit. My dad's always liked to partied here and there, not, I would say here and there. When I was younger, I know it was pretty heavily. And then my mom, she had an issue with drugs. She, I'm not going to name, what they were, but just because of her, it's my mom's sake, But yeah, she was addicted to drugs for a long time. And I really didn't get a connection with my mom until I was like 15. So for a long time, drugs kind of scared me for that reason. Because, you see your mom, you don't want to be like your mom. I've always been told when I was a kid, like, you always want to be better than your parents. And I try to live that, life, I guess. But so I've always been scared. But then around like 19, I was kind of loosen up a little bit, And I remember one day at work, I'm not going to name works or friends or whatever, I'll say the drug though. Because just for their own sake and, just legal, just, common sense. My buddy, it was lunch break. We were putting in cables and stuff like throughout different places, and like it was a little side business for us. We were out of high school, we didn't have a job steady, and we were just trying to get money. And he's like, "Yo, you want to come here to the bathroom here?" I'm like, "All right." I went to the bathroom, and there was like this fresh 2 lines of cocaine. And I didn't know what it was at first. I'm like, "Is this cocaine?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to try it?" I'm like, "Huh." I thought about it for like, probably a couple seconds. I'm like, "You know what? Fuck it. Sure. Why not?" I'm at work. Maybe it'll boost me up. And it fucking boosts you up. I did a line, and I fell in love with it. To that day, I discovered that I love uppers. I'm an uppers man. I've always liked it. I don't know. To me, like, doing a drug that makes you down doesn't make sense to me. Unless like it's weed. You're trying to like relax, mellow out, but like, I don't know. To me, like, if you're gonna do a drug, I might as well be up and enjoy the moment, I guess you want to say, whatever that moment is. But I kind of fell in love with it then. It was introduced in my life, and I just had that first moment. We fucking banged out so much stuff at that job, and we just did it, and we just did it, and we just did it. It was it was interesting. It was like, wow, I love this stuff. And then ever since then, our friend group at the time was getting introduced to it slowly and slowly. We all liked it. We all partied. We used to party at people's houses. Just talk and talk and talk. We did lines and lines. We would, split an 8-ball, between like 5 of us or so, and just talk about life. And you know what? I'll never regret anything I've done, because there was some moments. I'm not going to glorify the drug. I miss the moments of just being with my friends, I guess, and just talking, because you felt vulnerable at that moment. You hear what they really want to say to you. It's like when you're drunk and you say stuff that means is like, that's a vulnerable thing you're talking to them about. It's from the heart. And it just, I miss those moments of just talking to my friends again. But life happens. people, find new things and they move away, and that's just how it is. That friend group's gone now. Except one person and we still talk, and he's one of my closest friends. But it kind of slowly over the years then, from like 1920, kind of grew into something. I do cocaine a lot during when I'm off. And then, I knew other friends that did cocaine, so I was doing with them. And then, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, like, when I really got introduced. I did meth before I got addicted to it. I forgot when I did it. But I did it. And I just remember this, like, instant, like, hook I got into it. I did a line, and I'm like, holy shit. I never felt this before in my life. And I would go to my Xbox, and I would just play games for hours straight. And it was just insane to me. Like, I remember the one time I was playing Twitch. I was on Twitch streaming. I don't know if you guys know Devil May Cry. I played Devil May Cry 1, and I played that game for, 6 hours straight. Beat it in one sitting. And I just... Oh, man, I didn't talk to anyone during the stream. And I just was so, like, dehydrated. I had to pee. Like, I just felt like shit. But I just didn't even think about it. I did one line. That's all I did, and I just was hooked. But yeah, overall, then I kind of got more introduced to it. So... And then I kind of stopped doing anything for a while. I did like probably a year I stopped. And then I started Amazon. And I didn't do shit during Amazon. I was being a good boy, I guess you want to call it. I was just smoking weed here and there. But then I found out, when you're a driver job, you got to get piss tests randomly. And that scared me because I'm like, fuck. Weed takes so long to get out of your system. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, methamphetamine doesn't. It was my way to escape my thoughts, which is not a good thing to do. I'm just going to point that out there. I knew it wasn't smart, but I just didn't know what else to do. So I knew someone who I knew had a consistent, able to get it, and I bought it one time on the weekend when I was off. And I did the whole whatever. I think I bought like a 40-50 bag, which is like, I don't know, probably 0.5. Did a 0.5 in like, a couple nights. Done. Then I, didn't do it. And I knew my mood was changing when I didn't do it. Even after that first little bit. Another week went by, and I bought another bag, and I did it. And then I, continued. Then there was times where I would buy it every week. Then every week turned into like every fucking day. I would buy it all. I wouldn't buy it every day, but I would use every day. I would buy something throughout the week to stay up. And I just love the fact of just staying up. I can play my video games and then just go to work. And then I would feel, quote, on quotes, fine. But in reality, I was not fine. I was slowly, killing my mental brain, really. I was frying myself out. And there would be days I'll be working. This is right when I got a supervisor position, and I fucking ruined it because I would crash after like 4 days. 4 days in, I would crash and just sleep for like 2 days straight and miss work, and I got tardied, and then lost my supervisor position, and then eventually I lost my job because of it. So I thought that was like, all right, man, let's stop doing this shit. I thought that right there, that was like the hit the nail there. I thought I was done. I was like 23. But then I got other jobs. Like overall, for the past couple years, man, 4 years. I lost like probably a solid 5 jobs in like 5 years. I thought to me, enough was enough from that. But then I would do well. I would get the job. I would make a nice foundation with them. I would get to know everyone. I would do a good job too with the job. Every job I did, I guess I want to say I did a good job to it. But then I would fucking just ruin it. And it sucked. People were like, why are you getting a new job every this? I make up excuses and, lies and all that shit. And I never felt so ashamed of myself. But then it got really bad when I got this one job, and I was using and I loved this job. It was a job before I had now, and I loved it. It was, big. Everyone was so happy for me. I was doing good for like 3 months, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? Fuck it, let's just dabble. I bought stuff for the weekend, and then instantly I got back into it. Same kind of thing. I would be up for days, and I fucking eventually. Then around Memorial Day, I lost that job, and I fucking was so fucking upset with myself. And I thought that was it. And then with this job that I have now, I was using at first. For the first, like, 4 months. And I did fine. I did call off here and there, but I was still sticking with it, but my mental state was just fucking getting bad. My depression was getting bad. You know, there's fights going on at home. And, you know, home kind of affected me using too, you know, and it just sucked. It was a shame. I blame myself. I don't blame anyone else but myself for this. And it just was it sucked. But then, you know, obviously the turning point was then around, you know, it was around, sorry, I'm trying to think now. Yeah, it was, you know, December 29th is when I ran out. And I'm like, you know what, I gotta stop. But then what happens I noticed with meth is that you don't regret it when you first lose it. When you first ran out, you kind of comes to terms quickly with it. It's like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna get through it, whatever. But like a weekend, you kind of get withdrawal. It's all mental withdrawal. It's one of the hardest drugs to mentally go through. From my, you know, understanding from rehab, when I went to rehab, they were explaining that to me. So who knows if that was right or not, but it makes sense, at least to me. And it will just, when I have, and also I have major depression and severe anxiety or whatever, and it kind of just, you know, two-folds them things, and it intensified everything. And obviously, everything intensified when I just would not do it, and then I was so low that I tried to commit suicide. The day I took off work on the, it was like, it was the second, which the day I tried to commit, and you know, it was insane. I had everything ready. I used a revolver, so I knew nothing was going to jam up on me. I even put 6 bullets in that bitch to try to make sure I fucking did it. And I don't know what, I do have an idea of what stopped me. I've been in this religious journey, and I believe that, you know, God stopped me. I believe that. I followed Buddhism for years, and now I was questioning myself because I knew I was going to do it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to get life done. I'm just tired of life because I felt like I was a failure. You know, I would be in my room all the time, not doing anything. I would not see my family at all. I would be in my room for weeks just using and fucking playing video games, and then go to work and be, you know, out of it. And I just wasn't myself. I wouldn't talk to my friends. I would talk to family. I didn't talk to some family for like 6 months over that because I was so ashamed. I was just so ashamed of myself, and it sucked. It really sucked. That was the lowest point that I ever got, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just fucking end it. And I believe the hand of God put my hammer back up. He guided me to, you know, disengage my gun. And that's why I'm here. And I knew that I needed help. Because I knew that I needed to keep going. And it was scary. It was very scary. I never thought in my life that I would get to that low that I would try to kill myself. It wasn't the first time I tried to kill myself. To be frank, I've been struggling with depression for a very long time. But I just thought I was good on that. But unfortunately, I didn't. I need to get myself straight. So I had someone take me to the ER, and I put myself through the psych ward. I was in the psych ward for 9 days, and then I was in the rehab for 30 days. And I learned a lot about myself. That was the first part of this recovery because, you know, you're not around drugs, which isn't kind of true. You see people sneak in shit, you know, medicine. I didn't do any of it. It intrigued me. I wanted to get better. But finally I got back home, and it was just, it was rough. I had, you know, the first few weeks coming home was rough because I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it again because I felt like I was good, but I'm like, wait, remember last time when this happened. You know what happens when this, you know what happens to you. And it just, you knew that you had to stop. You just knew. You just knew you had to stop. And I finally, it just sucked, man. But everyone was so happy when I came back home. I didn't feel proud of myself for some reason for a long time. I still felt very ashamed of myself because a lot of people didn't know what I was struggling. I hide it, I mask it. And I'm thankful for those people. Even at work, man, my first day at work, I almost cried. People were giving me hugs. My family was missing me. I remember seeing my mom, my dad, my sister, all my friends. They just, because when they knew that when I told them I was trying to kill myself, they were just like, why? And I had to explain. And they just didn't, they realized dude, I don't know what I would do without you in my life. And that struck a chord with me, I guess you want to say, because it means that there is people that care about me out here. Not just my family and friends, just family and friends. And I don't know. I realized I had to keep going. And I just did. And here I am. I'm 6 months clean. I lost my car, but you know what? Soon, next month here, I'm going to get a car. I plan on moving out, starting my next chapter in life. Keep working, keep building what I have, and just doing the best I can. And that's all I want to do. But my drug story is not as crazy. I know a lot of other people has. Mine was a very intense short bit. It wasn't like a long, prolific journey. This was a short this was a short run of what I went through, but it was I didn't do a lot, but when I did a lot of it. You know what I mean? I went balls deep into it basically. And it was rough. And I want to thank, a lot of people. I want to thank all my friends and family that have been here supporting me. I know I'm not perfect yet. I never will be, but I want to be better than what I was. And it's just, I learned a lot. It's just, I really have changed in perspective of I've been really falling back into Christianity, which at first I felt like a hypocrite because for years I followed Buddhism, but then I realized I knew what saved me. The grace of God saved me. I can say that now. The grace of God told me to keep going. And I'm glad God sent me that message, And I will always have the teachings of Buddhism with me. Buddhism and Christianity go very hand in hand, I feel like. But I want to start going to church. I want to find a fellowship. I want to go back and I need to start, I want to pray more, I want to pray more and just be in line with it. I want to hear more of God's teachings because a lot of these verses have been hitting close to home with me. I've been learning a lot about them, been reading more. I just want to be a better person, And obviously I'm not here to preach the Bible out to people. No. This just works for me. Everyone has their own ways of fixing themselves, and I just found out this is what kind of works for me. My thing is what's been helping me is not being around people that I know that do drugs. I can't be around them anymore. I have to keep my separation. Yeah, they can always be my friends. I just can't really hang out with them. I can be friends from afar to them, as I was thinking, because I just don't want to be involved in that anymore. That time in my life is gone. Do I regret it? No, because I learned a lot from it. It could have been so much worse. I could still be doing this now when I'm in my 50s. And, I don't have a lot of time left to work, and then I'm getting older. I want to nip this on the butt now that I'm 27. I'm still young. I have lots of life, a lot of time to work and build, something, and I just retire hopefully, and just, I want to do better. And I know this is a much different tone than what we're used to from the other podcast, but this is what I really want to do. But next podcast will definitely be much more cheerful, I would say. much more happy going, But I know sometimes I like to talk to my mom. Suggested to me she would like to do an episode with me one of these days, and I think it'd be really cool to talk about stuff. And I just I think about it, I'm like tearing up. I get emotional. I get very emotional easily. When I feel things very intensely. You know what I mean? Like, you feel, I don't know, people call it, I'm an empath of a person. I feel other people's emotions. But I have been for years. And like I said, I'm going to, wrap this up here in a little bit. Because, like I said, I just wanted to do this to, explain more of myself, Will Austin ever do this to himself? I don't know. And that's fine. Austin's, he doesn't have an issue like that I did. And that's, it's just, I'm just my own person. I just want to do this my own self and kind of be more personal in this episode about it. So you guys can maybe understand a little bit more. And I don't know. I want to thank everyone who's been by my side through and through. You know who you are. And I want to thank my family. I want to thank God for keeping me here. And I am Christ's love, dude. Seriously. I hope, to make him proud. And I hope so. That I'm going the right directions of this. And I just want to thank everyone for listening to everything, to all the podcast episodes. And, I really mean it. It means a lot to me. It means more than anything. And also, Austin would say this too. Means a lot to both of us, because I think this is really cool. Another thing I've been wanting to do since I've been clean is to do more things like this. Just be more out there on the internet in a sense, but also try to help people. Like, if you ever have any issues with drugs, depression, anything, I just, please reach out to me. Cole Gorducci on Facebook. Or Austin Groff, please just message us, and we can be there to be a vessel for you. And I just want to thank you again, and I hope to see you guys very soon, hopefully next week or so, for a longer episode and also just a more cheerful one. But thank you so much. Have a blessed day, and take it easy. And thank you for sitting by the CampFiia and talking. Goodbye.